So now we're going to talk about adding or inserting tables, charts, and diagrams. So it's super easy and very useful, especially when we are creating fixed backgrounds and master slides and allowing our students to then use our slide presentation as an interactive activity. We want to keep these options available. So as you can see here, I've inserted a table, and the student could then fill in with whatever direction I've given him or her to drag in and find images to fill in these spots. So each of these squares now has the ability to be typed in, pictures added, shapes added on top, and so forth. So we find that in Insert. I'm going to jump down to another slide here to demonstrate. So here we can go Insert, Table, and all I have to do is drag my finger or cursor over and create my table, whatever size I need it to be. And so I'm just going to go ahead and say Insert, and then you can see the three little dots will allow me to drag upward, and I've only changed that row. So what if I wanted to make it bigger altogether and stay proportional? I'm going to drag from the corners. And if I wanted to reposition the whole thing, I just kind of stay in the middle. Oops. I want to grab the crosshairs and drag the whole thing as one unit. Okay, so we can do that. We have individual drop-down menus per cell, so I could edit one cell at a time, or I could highlight a series of cells. Let's just say I want this to become like a header, and so I want that to stay blue, and I'm probably going to shorten that up because I don't need my headers to be the same size as everything else. Then I want to make that a little bit bigger. And then let's just say I want each cell to stand out a little bit different. I want to border those. I could change it. The default is gray, maybe darken them a little bit if I needed to. Okay, so you can see we have full editing privileges here to make our table the way we want it. If I do decide I need to add another row, I can simply click on one of the rows and then right click, and I could insert a row above, which now my table's too big. So I'm going to come back and shrink it down altogether and reposition it on my page. Okay, and let's do that again. And I could do the same thing if I needed to add another column. I could come over and say insert column either left or right, depending on what I need. So those are the tables. Next, we're going to look at at charts. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to insert a new slide here. Okay, in this chart, I have said insert, chart, and I selected a bar graph. Okay, so this time I'm going to, well, let's go back here. So when I have my bar graph, as long as I have it surrounded, I've clicked on it so that I can edit it. If I come up here, I could either find a linked chart or I could start a new chart. And when I create a new chart, I could come over here, and now these are the items that I can edit. So if I wanted to change these to my students' roster and their test scores, or whatever it is I'm putting information in about, I can make those edits here, and then they will be reflected automatically here. I may have this surrounded with a little update arrow here that I would have to click on. The other thing I could do is I could insert a chart from an existing spreadsheet. And so if I have already put data in a spreadsheet, let's say from a form that I have put out to the students. I've used it as a quiz. Here are the results. I went ahead and created a table or a chart within the spreadsheet. All I have to do is select it, hit select again, and it's going to ask me, is this the one I want to do? And I'm going to select it and say import, and then there is my table. I'm sorry, it's a chart. I've said that twice now. Okay, so, and again, here I can move my chart on the slide, add other features. I could put a border around this if I wanted it to stand out separately. I kind of like that idea. I can change the color of that border if I needed to, and so forth. And so here, to go back and edit it, this is going to take me back to that linked object. I could see the spreadsheet and the responses where it came from. Okay. Next, we have diagrams. And I'm going to close that. This is a diagram that I imported from selecting diagram. I get a group of templates over here that I could choose from, and this is the one that I had chosen. Notice that I have the, oops, I didn't want to insert another one, the option of how many steps in this diagram are involved, and I can go up to 5 steps. And I can also choose a color scheme from which to choose, and so if I wanted my diagrams to be in the purple family, I could certainly do that. And then I'm going to start a new slide and insert a new table. I want this round one. I could then make the adjustments to information or whatever information that I could tell you about in this. And each of these then are editable segments. Okay, so it helps in many, many ways to organize and make your information stand out and look great.